And welcome back. Let's take a quick look at our question of the day now. And this morning we're asking you to engage us on this particular matter. So we're asking you with regard to the court proceedings, or not the court proceedings, the commission proceedings. What are your views on Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo lodging a criminal complaint against former President Jacob Zuma? Let us know your views at Morning Live SABC, and of course we'll be doing an interview regarding this particular matter shortly as well.
Yeah, we look forward to hearing your views and opinions on this one. So that, as we say, is going to be the conversation that we're having this morning. And in the next hour, we're also going to be talking about the economy here in South Africa. So obviously this news came out over, I think it was over the weekend.
Over the weekend,
yeah,
yes.
And the downgrade of South Africa. And yet, what does it really mean? I mean, you know, we always talk about these things, but what does it mean for you and your investments and your future and the uncertainty and the already struggling economy and job market here, and also the lack of investment? I mean, it's been a tough year for a lot of people, you know, and it hasn't been specific to a particular group of people. It has been a very, very tough year financially. But at the end of the day, looking at the bigger picture and downgrades that are coming our way, this is something that we need to be discussing and looking forward. Is there hope for next year? Talk of a vaccine? Is that something that'll instill confidence or not? So
But you see, we also need to be realistic about the whole vaccine situation, because realistically, the first rollout of that vaccine will take care of frontline workers, and then it will be the most vulnerable in society.
Absolutely.
And so for every other ordinary member of society, this is still a way off.
Yeah, it is.
So not quite ready to get excited about it as yet. It will first take care of those it needs to take care of. And of course, remember also just the storage of these vaccines. It's quite an undertaking, just making sure that it's stored correctly, that it's stable, all of these things. There's so many variables here, Leanne, that one needs to think about, and how that's going to impact the economy, critical. But I think your question equally so. What does this mean for the man on the street?
Well,
ultimately, that is the question.
Because you can already see that there is, of course, I mean, we're going to move into the interview now. I think it's going to be a hybrid. But just on a closing note on this conversation, I mean, with regard to the vaccine, it is still a while. It is still a while. It is a while away. But we're already seeing that, you know, just for instance, I saw a story coming out last night. Qantas Airline, if you want to fly on their airline, you have to produce a certificate to say that you've had the vaccine. And this is the way things are going to move. So it's you know, this is...
That's going
normal
to be
life
interesting.
Is away a while, but it is going to be a very interesting period.
Minister saying yesterday, we don't have any bilateral agreements with regard to a vaccine.
Exactly.
So we still part of the COVAX group. Absolutely. So it's still a while.
All right, other issues. Here we go. I think your guest is ready for you, so
indeed,
we'll chat and look forward to your responses. Sticking over to you.
Let's do that. All right. And we go now to that conversation around the former president's appearance at the Zondo Commission. Now, legal experts and analysts have welcomed Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo's decision instructing the Secretary of the State Capture Commission of Inquiry to lay a criminal complaint against former President Jacob Zuma with the police. Now, this comes after the former president walked out of the commission last week after the Deputy Chief Justice dismissed Zuma's recusal application. So to discuss this further, we're joined by Mvuzo Notyesi, who is president of the National Association of Democratic Lawyers, or NADEL. Mr. Notyesi, thanks so much for your time. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
So let's just go back to that walkout. Firstly, we had the former president's legal representative, Advocate Moses Kakane, after the Deputy Chief Justice, who's the Commission chair, indicated that he will not recuse himself. He actually did state that they would walk out. Now, after the walkout, the Jacob Zuma Foundation released a statement in support of that action, saying, and I quote, "President Zuma assures us that he would rather face jail than allow himself to be bullied by an irregular, manipulated and unlawful process," unquote. So what's your view regarding this statement and, of course, the way the proceedings unfolded last Thursday?
Firstly, we found the Jacob Zuma Foundation statements very much irresponsible and provocative, because If one recalls, President Jacob Zuma was the one who set up this commission and urged every South African to cooperate. He stated very well that he had confidence to the judges of the Republic of South and did not doubt their independence. And now, all of a sudden, when the decisions of the commission do not favor him, the foundation has an audacity to attack the institution that is set up in terms of the law. We find that to be an attack to the Constitution and to undermine the integrity of the Commission itself. It's unacceptable, and the JG Foundation should, if well advised, withdraw the statement. It's an attack on the rule of law. As regards the actions itself of the former President Jacob Zuma marching out of the Commission, we welcome the decision by the chairperson of the Commission to lay charges. I mean, we believe that that was a contemptuous behavior. He ought to have remained in the Commission until he is excused. But we have to separate his lawyers because the lawyers may have acted in accordance with the instructions. We don't know what the instructions were, so it would not be fair on our part to criticize the lawyers, more so that Advocate Kakane indicated that they would excuse themselves.
Now, when you say that the former President's Foundation is attacking the Commission, which part of that is an attack? Because is that not just reiterating what they had actually put before the Commission in terms of submitting that they felt that the former President was being unfairly treated by the Commission, and this was, of course, evidence that was argued before the Commission in that recusal application?
Well, the Commission itself is set up in terms of the law, and there are terms of reference for that Commission. To make a blanket nebulous statement to the effect that the Commission is bullying, is irregular, and all those things that are clearly unfounded is to undermine the integrity of that Commission and its processes. One has a recourse against the actions of the Commission. Hence, even their advocate, the advocate of Judge Kakane, Advocate Kakane, stated that they hold a view they hold an instruction to review the Commission. That's normal. So if one feels that there are rules that have been breached or irregularities that have been committed, you have a recourse. You don't just attack and throw aspersions as they do in the same manner that they are doing.
So what does this criminal complaint mean for the former president in a nutshell, and why is it criminal?
Yes, it is. It is a criminal offence to simply undermine or disobey the Commission, and that would be contempt of court. In actual fact, contempt of the Commission. I think that's what it would be. And our view, the process would be that there will be criminal cases, and the former president will have to answer in a criminal court in relation to what at this stage is prima facie and a contemptuous behavior of the proceedings.
So those who are in support of the former president are basically asking, why this hasn't been applied to previous presidents, for example, regarding the TRC. Is that a valid complaint? And also, what precedent does this set for future appearances before the Commission?
I'm not too sure whether in the Truth Commission there was a person who walked out in the Commission. We mustn't compare apples with oranges. And also, it's always not correct to justify the wrong by reference to another wrong. If that was not dealt with at that stage, that was wrong. It cannot be right because it is repeated today, or You can't be right to commit an unlawful act simply because it was previously done. That's a precedent which must be stopped. So there's nothing to compare here. We must focus on the fact that former President Jacob Zuma walked out of the commission, and that is a contemptuous behavior. Let's not involve side issues and irrelevant considerations to what is pertinently before us today. Let that be dealt with where it is supposed to be dealt with.
So now that the Commission will approach the Constitutional Court to basically force Zuma to appear before Zondo, what legal options does the former president have at his disposal?
Yes, he would have opportunity to pose that application, put his side of the story, and it will be dealt with on the basis of the two sides of the stories before the court, and the court will decide on those points. So the options available to former President Zuma is to oppose that application.
And of course, the former president, through his legal team, also expressing last week during the commission that they would be laying charges with the Judicial Services Council against the DCJ. So what do you make of that? And what could it possibly be that they would bring as charges against Deputy Chief Justice Zondo?
In fact, to me, the act of actually telling Judge Zondo that while we are going to lodge a complaint with the JSC regarding this matter, I mean, at that stage, in the manner it was done, that was an act of intimidation to me. Is one of those threats against the independence of Judge Zondo. All what one has to do was to simply file a complaint with the JSC. You don't necessarily, it's not a part of a process that that Judge Zondo need to hear at that stage. Obviously, I think the complaint would be, as it was outlined, that Judge Zondo presided in his own, in a case of which he was a witness, so it was stated. I think that would be the nature of the complaint. That complaint is legitimate. It should go to the Judicial Services Commission and be investigated by that body. But it is not something that you just tell a judge that, look, I'm going to lay a complaint against you to the court, because there's nothing that Judge Zondo could do about it.
So why then do you say that it was an act of intimidation if it really doesn't matter either way?
No, but the point I'm making is that one need not say, look, I'm going to lodge a complaint against you. What's the reason? The ground for them to recuse themselves, to excuse themselves at that stage. One of them was that their instructions is to review the proceedings. So the net effect of the review application would be that they would not participate further into the commission. As regards the lodging of a complaint, it has nothing to do with the process of the commission itself. But be that as it may, as I'm saying, they have a right to lodge a complaint with the JSC insofar as there are issues that they are not happy with the judge, because that one has to do with the judge personally.
Mr. Notyesi, what timeframes could we expect for a conclusion on this matter should the former president use his legal avenues to avoid appearing before the commission?
It's going to be a long process. From what we see, it's likely to be a long-drawn process. Because getting to the Constitutional Court, I understand that from the announcement is that the Commission will bring an urgent application. Of course, to hear that urgent application, it will take some time because there must be exchange of documents. But fortunately, if the Constitutional Court grants a leave for the hearing of that application, it may be quick to finalize it because the Constitutional Court will be the final court. But as regards the contempt of court proceedings that are to be laid with the police, That is going to take a long process. It's going to be a criminal case. It's going to be defended. Yes, we are up to for another day in terms of finalizing the commission itself.
So the implications of this latest act of the former president on the integrity of the commission, because what if others decide to follow suit? Where does this leave the commission?
Unless it is carefully managed, these actions are likely to have a serious bearing onto the commission itself. The commission, this may be an end to the commission. Hence, the view of NADEL in relation to this matter was that we are expecting that this process will be speeded up so that it is concluded and report furnished to the people of South Africa. It has already been 2 years. We're hoping for something that will be concluded within those times that were set at the time when the commission was established. Extensions. So it's going to be a long-drawn process, but it must be carefully managed. And already, this action is having or will have a serious bearing onto the commission itself, and regarding the process of concluding its work.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Mvuzo Notyesi, President of the National Association of Democratic Lawyers, NADEL, for talking to us about Deputy Chief Justice Raymond Zondo's criminal complaint against former President Jacob Zuma. And that's our question of the day as well, asking you what your views are on this particular matter. With that, at 7 o'clock, time for your latest news, and Leanne standing by with that.